me do a little outfit check. So I'm just wearing my military hat and just got some accessories. I'm wearing my bangers, Miley Cyrus bangers tour shirt. And then my unauthentic Billy bag from By Far. This is thrifted. I'm not sure if it's authentic, but it's the vibe. Shorts, snowy shorts, boots. You feel cute. You look cute. How much for your new scarf? Okay lang, basta kayo. Nice ang free travel sa mga stars. Hello guys! Nice to see you again. Ayan, get yourself. Bye-bye! See you around. So I'm just here at the convenience store. Let me just show you what I got from the flea market. I only got one for my favorite local brand, Basin CDO, native salad, Shadi again, Chuck, and Ella. I got a new scarf.
Is it recording na?
It's the middle of the year and I thought I want to give an update on what we've been reading in the past 6 months of 2026. And we read quite a lot of books. So I thought I'd share them with you guys as we check in for our mid-year vlog. First of all, I apologize if we're going to be accompanied by the noise from the streets because I'm sitting here outside the cafe. I just finished this book. This is a book I got from the recent queer library held by Aesop in SM Aura. It's actually the first queer library held in Southeast Asia, because usually it was being celebrated by Aesop around America and in Europe. And yeah, the lady told us it's the first time they held a queer library to celebrate Pride Month in Southeast Asia, and it was held in Manila. I got this book called Titan and I by Blaise Campo Gakoskas. It was a novel from 2022, and this turned out to be a nice pick for me. Because I initially was leaning to getting Ricky Lee's novels, but unfortunately didn't make it to the stocks because it was a long line there at Aesop. So yeah, there's a collection of stories that revolves around the main character, Victor Molina. And here we follow his psychological journey into adulthood as he lives his life in Ilocos to Manila. I thought this is the most relatable Filipino novel I've read so far. Actually, I don't think I've ever read any Filipino novels in a while. I love the parts where the author would not give you directly what happens in the ending of every chapters. I thought when an author does that and it's done effectively, it was just brilliant writing. Although, of course, I still think there's still parts where it could have been executed more effectively. Backing track in the beginning of the year, I actually started my 2026 with my best book read. It's Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. It has been all over booktag and Instagram, being recommended as a queer book, which indeed it is a queer book. A lot of gay stuff, a lot of gay characters, and I love reading this. It was so tasteful and imaginary. I would always find myself imagining the scenarios. It was so descriptive. Yeah, I love reading every chapters from the first perspective of each of the family members until the last. I thought this was actually a perfect queer book, not only because of the characters, but I love how it was written as if, you know, telling us the story of someone who cannot be himself because of the people around him. Isn't that how a queer life is? You know, being quenched to be your whole potential, being quenched to become your true self, being quenched to live your true identity. So read this. Next book I read was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So it was a back-to-back monster theme book read in the beginning of the year. But yeah, I love how this talks about the discourse on men's judgment, men's poor judgment, if I would correct myself. Yeah, this is about someone who just want to be loved and belong, and being deprived of that emotion. So it's a story about a villain arc of the monster created by Frankenstein. You know, our boy just want to be loved. Guys, I hope you can still hear me. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Next book I have read was The Book of All Loves by Agustin Fernandez Malio. On the blurb, it says here, in the wake of the Great Blackout, faced with near extinction of humanity, a pair of lovers speak to each other. They parse with precision, with familiarity, the endless aspects of their love. This is a mix of non-fiction and fiction. and what I think is the other's way of justifying love being present in all the mundane of life. You know what I mean? So I read this during Love Month, February, because I was hoping to feel, the emotion of love. But as I read through this, it felt more academical to me. It felt like I was being lectured about the definition of love, which I think it is indeed a lecture of, what love is or where love is. But yeah, as I read the blurb, it's about, two lovers discussing, what they thought of love during the end of the world. Okay, next I have James Baldwin's If Bill Street Could Talk. This actually saved me from reading the other book because I felt all the love in here. I just felt all the love being poured on this book, on these characters. So here we follow two young lovers living in New York City, and these two lovers are caught in the middle of an incident, while the girl Tish is pregnant and her lover Funny was mistakenly accused of a crime, a rape crime. So I thought it's a good. This book is a good representation of, the prejudice that our fellow Black people has been experiencing, and what made them get through all of it is the love they have for themselves, within themselves, and the love they get from their family. I would still say that I love Giovanni's Room more, but I'm still glad I got to read this. Yeah. Another book which made me feel all the emotions of love, platonically, romantically, in friendship, the love of art, Just Kids by Patti Smith. This is like reading, a love letter of a friend to another friend, and rooting for them to make it in the path that they chose to become. I love how Patty has executed this book as if it's a letter to a friend. It was so full of heart and hope and trust towards a friend, towards a lover, towards a loved one. Alright, bear with me. I only have a few books left to talk about. I read Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. I read this together with my friend Audrey, and obviously we both loved it. This was such a hearty, familial book. Yes, this is a required reading if you have been reading books all your life. And if you have been reading books all your life and have not picked this up, what are you doing? Why are you wasting time? Go get your copy. So it says here, there's a novel of a childhood in a sleepy southern town and the crisis of conscience that rock it. So we follow this very, very nice family of Atticus and his children, Scout and Jem. And yeah, I just love how the topics of prejudice and judgment and compassion and standing up for your values are relayed through the lens of these children. This book made me want to, be a child again and just wish to see the world as a kid. I love the parts where, the kids would talk to their father. Atticus would just, lecture his kids. If you would want to be having a kid, if you're gonna be building up a family and, having kids, you should read this first. You should read this. This is like a nice guide of morals if you are going to be, nurturing a human being, a child. Notice how the tiniest books have the biggest content. Tuesdays with Morrie. At first, I was skeptical on reading this. This was not actually on my TBR until this was gifted by my friend Aldray. Um, because he first read this and he loved it, so he recommended it to me. So he gifted me this as a birthday present. Although this reads very self-helpy, I would not discredit how the content of this tiny book is so rich in teaching about, the morals and the important things that we need to know in life. This reads like a required reading as well. So we follow Mitch as he goes through every session with his past professor who is dying, Morrie, every Tuesdays in his home, just, catching up and talking about life and the lessons of the human nature and the human morals and weighing what really matters in this world. As Morrie says, you will only ever know how to live if you know how to die. That's what he said. Okay, last book on my mid-year book tag is Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. Although, I have not finished this yet. So basically we follow the life of Shuggie and the working class neighborhood in Glasgow, together with his siblings and her alcoholic mother. But as I read through it, this reads more like a story of her mom, Agnes. And the connection of women to women, the misogynistic presence in the neighborhood, even way back then. So I'm looking forward to be finishing this month of July, so I can move on to another book. So yeah, these are the books I've read in the middle of the year of 2026. I hope you're having a good reading experience as well so far, that you also might want to share with me in the comments. So I would be very happy to check them out. But for now, this is what we got.